This podcast is titled Photosynthesis and Light. In this section, we are going to look at both of these terms and how we apply them to 7th grade science. Before we start, we need to talk about a few definitions. The first one is called transmission. And transmission is what allows light to pass through an object. And in the picture below, you see that I have two glasses, each filled with water. And we would be able to see through the glass because of the fact that it has the principle of transmission. So anything that allows light to pass through it is known as transmission. Another definition is called reflection, and reflection is what allows for light to bounce back off of it. And in the picture below, you'll see that there is a person that's holding a mirror, and so the sun's rays are going to reflect off the mirror, and it would be shining off in the opposite direction. You can also see this one if you go to a pool in the summertime. You'll notice that there is the sun's light that's hitting the surface of the water and reflecting back. So transmission and reflection, two principles of light. Another term is called absorption, and absorption is when a dark object takes in light. And so in the picture over here, you'll see that there is a freshly paved road which is dark in color, and so it's going to absorb the sun's energy and it's going to heat up and create a mirage. Also in the book, if you read about the different types of absorptions, we would say that the lemon tree also is a form of absorption because of the fact that it is going to absorb all of the colors and it's going to reflect yellow. So we see the reflected color. So all the colors of the visible spectrum, red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet, and green, are all going to be absorbed with the exception of the yellow. The yellow is the one that's going to reflect back. And the same thing is true about a plant. All of the colors are going to be absorbed except for green. Green is going to be the one that's reflected back. So what we say is that absorption is where all of the colors are absorbing into an object, and the one that's being reflected is the color that is not present. Chlorophyll is an important vocabulary word in plant science because of the fact that it is found in the chloroplast. It's a chemical that is the most abundant pigment in leaf cells. And so because of that fact, they are able to go through the process of photosynthesis. But that's where the whole process starts. It's when the visible light is absorbed into the plant cells, and in return it reflects back the color green. To better understand photosynthesis, we're going to take a look at it. I'm going to try to draw you a picture of this. And so you start off with the sun. And the sun has, obviously, sun's rays, which are going to come down, and we're going to refer to them as light energy. And down here is your plant. I will try to draw this for you. So here you have, that's a leaf. And I will do another one over here. This is also a leaf. And so let's add in some other parts to it, maybe even give it another branch, and maybe even another, my drawings, you know how the Banish drawings are. We'll say that that's another one as well. So light energy strikes the plant, and so here comes light's energy, it strikes the plant. There is also carbon dioxide, which is known as CO2. So CO2, which is carbon dioxide, is going to be taken in through little holes that are on, you can't see them with the visible eye, but they are taken in through the leaf. And then you also have water, which is in the ground, that is going to be taken in by the roots, and so water is taken in. So you have three things entering in the plant. You have the sun's energy, or the light. You have the carbon dioxide, which is given off when we breathe, but also through carbon fixation. And we also have water that is being taken in from the plant's roots. And in return, what happens is that as the light strikes the leaves, it gets this chlorophyll and starts a process that turns this into sugar. And so the plant is going to make itself sugar. And that sugar is its source of food. Okay, and so that process is known as photosynthesis, and in return it gives off something that's very important to us, which is oxygen. So O2 is given off. So the whole thing fits together like this. Basically, you have light energy from the sun that is going to strike the leaves. The leaves are going to absorb all of the colors that are from the visible spectrum. So your Roy G. Biv, carbon dioxide, which is found through different types of processes, is going to be absorbed through the leaves. They have little tiny holes that are going to absorb that carbon dioxide. And the plant is going to take in water from the soil, and it's going to bring it into the plant. In return, what the plant does is it starts to take the light energy, the carbon dioxide, and the water through a very special equation that I'll show you next, and it's going to turn that into sugar, which is going to be used as food for the plant. That's how the plant grows. It needs water and food, which we learned about in our previous chapter. And so because of that fact that it's getting its food through the sugar, it's making its own. And so we call it an autotroph. And in return, the plant gives off oxygen, which we are able to use to help us survive. So that's the way that the photosynthesis works. Let's take a look at the actual chemical formula for it. Here's the chemical formula. The top one is for photosynthesis, and that's where you have carbon dioxide, or CO2, plus water, and you're adding in light energy. So those three things go together, and what they're going to do is they are going to make the sugar which the plant is going to use, which is C6H12O6, and the oxygen, which is O2. I wouldn't get too concerned if you're struggling to understand the CO2 plus the H2O yields C6H12O6 plus O2. That's some chemistry that we're going to talk about a little bit, but it's something that you'll talk more about in high school when you get there. The big thing I need you to understand is that you have carbon dioxide plus water plus light energy, which is going to make sugar and oxygen. And then the chemical equation for respiration, so when we breathe out, what's happening is that we're using sugars that are found inside the body and oxygen, and it's going to make carbon dioxide, which we breathe out, and also water. And so the chemical formula for this one is going to be C6H12O6 plus O2 yields 6 CO2s and 6 waters. And so that's the chemical formula. Again, don't worry about this part of it because of the fact that's a little higher level. But respiration does have the chemical equation of sugar plus oxygen yields carbon dioxide and water. So those are the two different parts to photosynthesis and respiration. We're going to be doing different activities to help you further understand that. Take some time, fill out the form, and we'll be discussing this in class tomorrow.